Hello again, and welcome back to El Dabstroyero vs. the Movies, the show where I elbow drop some righteous riffs on some foul and forgotten flicks. This time, I'm facing off against my toughest opponent yet, a preachy propaganda piece from the Chrysler Corporation called Land of the Free. So, will this decades-old dud leave me a huddled mass yearning to breathe free, or will I give this Chrysler cinematic the chokeslam? Find out now on El Dabstroyero vs. Land of the Free.
Oh man, these movies can't be that bad, or maybe they could be. These movies better watch out, cause he's not about to shut his mouth. El Dabstroyero versus the movies. He's elbow dropping riffs, making movies say I quit. Cause it's El Dabstroyero and he's making fun of film. So it's El Dabstroyero versus the movies.
Oh hey, it's that vaping cloud from Junior Raindrop. Well, let's hope this movie turns out better for them than the PT Cruiser did. Those are some awfully suspicious quotation marks. Breaking news! Giant letters appearing across the continental United States, damaging thousands of homes and properties. Citizens urged to stay indoors.
What makes a country? What makes this country of ours?
Mostly ignorance.
Let's take a swift bird's eye view to see if we can discover the ingredients.
Some salt, some
The
pepper, a
first
dash of
essential is
racism.
space to live in, and we Americans have plenty of that.
Unfortunately, it's in Kentucky.
This republic stretches from ocean to ocean, and from the Great Lakes to the Gulf.
And here's Congress.
Within our borders are vast, fertile plains where graze the cattle and the sheep.
Get it? Because they're full
We
of
have
bullshit.
great fields of billowing grain, mile on mile nodding golden heads to the sun. A giant granary.
And this is where we grow our
Friendly,
weed.
smiling valleys are dotted with fragrant fruit trees and streaked with dusty green vineyards that march in columns over the rolling hills. We have millions of acres of timberland.
Oh yeah,
Oak
America's
and
got
elm
wood.
and hickory, maple and walnut, spruce and pine. Our mighty rivers toss their plumes of spray as they
Someone
hurry
just
down
flushed
to the
America.
sea. Majestic mountains proudly lift their ancient snow-covered heads to the blue sky. Plenty of space to live in.
Yeah, if you're a
But
Yeti,
land
maybe.
is not enough to make a country. There must also be people to work the land.
Work,
Men to swing the axe and fell the timber to begin the conversion of a tree into a useful piece of lumber.
See you later,
There
useless
must be
tree.
people to harvest the crops, cotton and wheat, corn and tobacco, oats and alfalfa, barley and beans. Now, people act pretty much alike the world over, no matter where you go.
They act like
They
dicks.
eat and drink and discuss the news of the day. They're born, they work for their share of happiness, and they die.
Haha, joke's on you,
They
we're
feel
Buddhist.
the same heat of summer and the same chill of winter. And after work, they play.
Okay, this is officially
But
the
that
whitest
isn't
shit
enough.
ever.
And that's why for 300 years they've been coming to this country.
Camera person's trying to upskirt Lady
Our
Liberty.
fathers or our fathers' fathers, months or years or generations ago,
Hey look, it's the
made
Diamond
the long
Princess.
voyage to these shores in search of freedom. For more than half a century, the Statue of Liberty, soaring symbol of America, has held high aloft a torch, brightly burning, to light the way
Yoo-hoo,
for
over
26
here.
million new Americans to this new land of opportunity, to this land of the free. And what treasures are ours?
Proud American dirt
We
farm.
produce 34% of all the coal mined in the world.
Yeah, sorry about that
From our
CO2.
wells gushes 62% of the world's supply of oil. From seemingly inexhaustible veins in the earth,
He who smelt
we
it dealt
produce
it.
29% of the world's iron ore. Other rich lodes supply us with 32% of the world's copper. In the fields of the South, we grow half of all the cotton produce.
Oh, he's riding the cotton
Our
pony.
most valuable crop is corn, of which we grow more than half of the world's supply. To get about our great country, we operate 34% of the world's railroads.
That train's in a hurry to get out of the movie.
250,000 miles of track. For personal transportation, we drive 70% of all the automobiles that
Again,
roll along
just
the
so
world's
sorry for
highways.
climate change.
We enjoy the convenience of half of all the
No, what are
telephones
you
in service.
wearing?
For diversion and instruction, we listen to 45% of all the radio sets in existence.
And they all play the same
We
5
import
songs.
into this country for our use half of all the rubber
Yeah,
produced in
baby,
other
America's
lands.
got all the rubbers.
From across the sea, we bring into America more than half of all the coffee grown.
Americans are some thirsty
And
bitches.
from the other side of the world, we get more than half of the world's production
Great,
of raw
now it smells
silk.
like feet.
And what proportion of the population of the Earth shares all these riches?
Oh, Earth is made entirely out
There
of
are
pudding.
130 million of us Americans. But how do we compare in numbers with the rest of mankind?
Hey, I see my house.
Well, such is the ingenuity, the courage, and the capacity for hard work of the American people that they have developed these infinite resources and still have a lot of room to grow in. For we constitute only 6% of the population of the world.
Yeah, but 60% measured
Only
by weight.
6%. And yet we are the wealthiest in resources, as well as the happiest and freest people on Earth.
Yeah, citation
We
needed.
constitute the greatest country in the world, great in resources and in the vision of our people,
Some lovely smog
great in
today.
accomplishment in the past, and equally great in promise for the future.
The end.
Not so long ago,
boo.
our forefathers braved unknown perils of an unknown land and crossed the continent to win the West, a triumph of courage and will to achieve. The country over, stout-hearted men and women were making homes and raising families.
And getting dysentery.
One gala day, the last spike was driven that laced the two oceans together with a transcontinental railway. Now the two coasts were only days apart.
And the country was
instead of
never
months.
divided again.
In 1840, 100 years ago, a member of the United States Senate made an amazing speech.
I like turtles.
I urge the closing of the United States Patent Office.
Their worker was very rude
It
and
is
wouldn't give
obvious.
me a senior
I
discount.
think that you will concur
Kerr.
that we have exhausted our inventiveness.
He seems exhausted just reading
And
this.
because there is nothing further to be devised and patented,
Well, he just found the patent for boring me to death.
no machine or contraption
Or doodad.
that can possibly add to our virtue and well-being,
Line.
I crave your support of a measure to close the patent office.
Close the patent office.
Well, that's what he said.
And since that day have come inventions.
See you later,
that have
Senator
meant
Bland
jobs
Paul.
for millions of men and women. The electric light,
Ooh.
the telephone,
Ah.
the phonograph,
Wow.
the automobile,
Oh my.
the airplane,
Splendid.
the radio.
Oh.
and the sound motion picture.
I think the film just gave itself a
Each
cognitive
year,
test.
400,000 applications for patents are filed, from which come as many as 40,000 workable ideas.
And 3 of them are good.
Why, no further back than the turn of the century, less than 4 decades ago,
Dear Santa.
letters were handwritten by the light of an oil lamp. Now, your secretary turns out her work swiftly and legibly on the typewriter.
The invention of sexism.
Not so long ago, metal was shaped by the smith, and a mighty man was he, because he had to be.
Let's go,
Nowadays,
America!
a man touches a lever, and the jaws of a giant press close on a sheet of steel to form the top of an automobile.
The end.
Not so
Oh!
long ago, milk was skimmed by hand.
The cows hated it.
But now, the separator efficiently divorces the milk from the cream.
Yeah, but now the milk's fighting for
Plowing
custody.
used to be a slow job and a hard job
Wink,
not so
wink.
long ago. But now, American inventiveness has lightened the labors of the farmer with the tractor and the gang plow.
Gang plow. I think I saw that
Nature
porno.
created Niagara Falls, truly a beautiful spectacle. But even more magnificent is the largest man-made structure on Earth,
This giant butthole.
Boulder Dam. Eloquent
Hey
testimony
guys,
to the
I think
vision
we
of
sprung
our
a
country.
leak.
For this tremendous work will make the desert to blossom like the rose, creating garden spots.
Don't cross the streams.
Where once was trackless waste. We have flung great bridges across bays and streams that people may move more easily from one place to another for the exchange of goods.
Hey, that's
and
Bodie
ideas.
McBoatface.
Over and under rivers between the United States and the Dominion of Canada are bridges and tunnels that cross the boundary line between our good neighbor and ourselves, a 3,000-mile frontier of friendship.
Another bridge
over
to
which
nowhere?
not a gun has been pointed in enmity in more than 100 years. Typically American are our majestic cities with their towering skyscrapers of steel and stone and glass.
And all the homeless people.
Truly an awe-inspiring sight is Manhattan Island.
Oh, that's what the smell
In
is.
busy, bustling Chicago, millions have been spent to beautify the lakefront.
Sorry, no
Until It is
refunds.
now one of the show places of America, the gift of a generous city to its people.
Yeah, I'm gonna regift
The
that.
national capital at Washington.
The Capitol looks so different when it
Breathes
isn't
there
being
a man
stormed
with
by
soul
insurrectionists.
So dead, who never to himself has said, This is my own, my native land. This country has been called the melting pot because by some strange alchemy, a variety of ingredients goes into it, and the result of the bubbling and seething is always the same.
I'll talk!
A new citizen.
Can't believe this movie just waterboarded
An American.
I'll show them, and they'll regret the ever-crossing chef of Boyardee.
Sharing every smile and tear.
Ooh, that dang Huckleberry Finn tricked me again. Why won't this shoe just die already? Haha, I send celebrities death threats. Hi, Mom. Oh, no, Luigi, come on, we gotta dig. My princess, she's in another castle. Hey, baby, you like the way I drill? The film's trying to call 911 on itself. Damn, the army is recruiting younger and younger these days. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel more indoctrinated already.
And what makes an American?
Ignorance and obesity?
Well, there's education. Free schools for all the people. Only 150,000 of our youngsters were enrolled in institutions of higher learning 50 years ago. Now, the enrollment is 1,200,000.
Nerds.
Then there's a free press for the uninterrupted exchange of ideas.
Truman
A
sucks.
press that is free to speak its mind about those in power, to safeguard the rights of the lowly, to examine
lady, you're about to push that stroller into traffic.
To ensure justice for all under the Constitution.
Yeah, still waiting on that one.
There is free speech.
Movie got me
for
drunk.
we are an aggressive, tough-minded people
Quick glimpse
who
inside
never
a dentist's
hesitate to speak
nightmares.
our minds.
Still, the fact remains that we homeowners have our rights too. And I, for one, am going to stick up for mine.
Right after I finish vacuuming my yard.
From its beginning more than 300 years ago, America has been the haven of the oppressed who found religious freedom here.
Oh, God,
Dotting the landscape in city, town, and country are church spires reaching up into the heavens. Great edifices invite worshippers to sit beneath their hushed and
Here's the
holy
church,
domes.
here are the steeples, open the door and see all the
Here in
sheeple.
America, every man may worship his God according to his lights, may address the Almighty if he so pleases in the tongue of his fathers, for this is the land of the free.
And the home of the bored.
We Americans like to play.
Whee!
Laughter rings out in the land, on the beaches of the Atlantic and the Pacific and the Gulf, of lakes and rivers and
Life's a
streams.
beach, am I right?
Millions of us are ardent devotees of the national game of baseball.
Hey, down in front, down in front!
On each coast is a great exposition to teach us, amuse us, and amaze us. One has arisen outside of New York City on the
New
Flushing
York
Meadows.
City!
The other on Treasure Island in beautiful San Francisco Bay.
Trying for that bird's eye view
All
of
the
some
year
Treasure
round,
Island
the
beauty.
outdoors calls us, bidding us forget all care and live an hour or two with nature.
Yeah, living
in
with
her
nature is great and all, but they
ever-changing
never
wonderland.
do their share of the
Always
dishes.
fascinating, whether in the crisp cold of winter or on a soft June evening out in the woods.
Yep, just 7 guys camping out on Brokeback Mountain. The deer and the antelope playing is definitely a euphemism.
Back in 1900, men were still doing many laborious tasks by hand.
If you know what I mean.
Then came the beginning of a new program of action, the American Way, which consists of an endless chain of 4 links. Endless because no one can say which comes first.
It's the chicken. No,
One
it's the
link
egg.
was quantity production, by which products of finer quality were produced in greater numbers at a price within the reach of everybody.
AKA cheap crap.
General education was essential to the American Way, so the people could learn the advantages of a product from magazine advertising, from newspapers that daily
If
tell
only
100
she could
sales
read.
stories, from billboards that display a message so that he who runs may read, and from the radio that takes education directly into the home. Now we have national desire exemplified by a hurrying stream of shoppers.
And they're all buying toilet paper.
Quantity production means a product that combines high quality with low cost, returning more value on the investment, whether it's an automobile or a cake of soap.
Yum, cake of soap.
Nationwide distribution means laying down the
Flush 'em.
product in
Excuse
every
me.
community for the convenience of the
Beep,
prospective
beep, out of my
buyer.
way, movie!
General education is accomplished by advertising in all its forms and through all available media.
Fake news.
Thus is engendered national desire. The result is the American Way.
America?
Unapproached,
How many times do I have to
even
tell you,
unique,
pick up
as it
all your
operates
crap?
day in and day out in furtherance of the health, happiness, and well-being of all of us, of higher standards of living than exist elsewhere in the world, here in the land of the free.
The end. Seriously,
This was
again?
a mighty snappy job not so long ago. Only 40 years, in fact.
That
And
Orville
yet this
Redenbacher
scene
really knows how to
almost
show a
takes us
lady a
back to
good
the Dark
time.
Ages. So rapid has been the growth of the automotive industry, the outstanding example of the American way in
No,
operation.
the movie's not tricking me this time.
In 1900, there were only 8,000 motor vehicles registered in the United States.
Looks like America
By
has psoriasis.
1906, the number had grown to 105,000.
Yeah, but who's counting?
We topped the million mark for the first time in 1913 with 1,258,000 registrations.
Hashtag humble
2 years
brag.
later, the total was 2,445,000, and the curve went steadily upward through the years.
Size queen.
3.5 million in 1916, 5 million in 17, 6 million
America
in 18,
would later go on to
7.5
regret
million in
that
19,
automobile tramp
and
stamp.
9.25 million in 1920. What a growth that was in a score of years.
Ain't child labor
But it
great?
still went on and up. 15 million in 1923, 22 million in 26,
Calm down, Grandpa. It's gonna be
26.5
okay.
million in 30, 28 million in 36, and 29.5 million last year. Think of it. In 40 years,
We're on the
we
405
have built
today
a
for your
total
commute, but Grove
of
Street is
62
backed
and a quarter
up.
million motor vehicles. And we're going to keep right on building them more and more, for Americans always have demanded and always will demand these necessities.
Oh, my arm's caught in the engine.
Now for the men and women who build the cars.
What are you looking at?
Motor car companies employ as many as 500,000 persons in a year and pay them as much as $800 million in 12 months.
Well, that's like $1,600 a
Another
year for
1.25
anyone keeping
million are
track.
employed in sales and service. And when you consider the related manufacturers who depend on the
King
automobile
Tut brand
business,
tires.
you find on the payrolls more
Washing
than
cars is his
6
job, but he
million
technically
employees.
do it for free because it's
One
also his
out of every
fetish.
7 gainfully employed in the United States.
Life is a
America's
highway.
road building program went hand in hand with the development of motor transportation. Until now, we have 360,000 miles of surfaced highways.
Lousy,
In
useful
the fiscal year
socialism.
of 1939, more than 3.5 million men were employed on road construction and
And they're all
maintenance.
standing around as one guy fixes
The
a
motorists
pothole.
of America fill their tanks each year with 22 billion gallons of gasoline, 90%
we're real gas
of the total
guzzlers.
United States production. Automobile manufacturers ship their product in 3 million freight carloads, for which they pay the railroads the staggering total of $360 million.
And they pay it all in
The
9
automotive
billion
industry
pennies.
writes many another big check. In a year, it spends more than $23 million for cotton. Nearly $3 million is the bill for wool, and another $2 million goes for mohair.
All I want to
The
know is,
cattlemen
who's out here
receive more
shaving
than
moles?
$1.75 million for hides. And there are many other commodities of which the industry is the largest single consumer, such as rubber, 80%.
Well, that seems like a
Plate
fire
glass,
hazard.
69%. Alloy steel, 54%.
Steel magnolias, 12%.
Malleable iron, 53%. Strip steel,
Well, good thing I brought a bunch of
51%.
singles.
Sheet steel, 41%. Lead, 35%.
Oh, that's why my hair is falling out.
Nickel, 29%. Every state in the Union contributes to the building of automobiles.
Except
and
Kentucky,
every
they're
state
cut off.
profits. New England weavers make fabrics for upholstery.
And the wicked good
From the
at it.
Northwest comes lumber.
Ooh, can we
millions
ride the
of
log
feet of
flume
it.
next?
From the South comes sugar cane and cotton, millions of pounds of it. From the Southwest comes oil.
I swear
billions
this
of
never
gallons of
happens.
it. From the Middle West come corn and wheat, soybeans and flaxseed, millions of bushels of it. From ranchers and farmers the country over come sheep and cattle and hogs.
Watch out, that looks like 30
Millions
to
of
50
them.
feral hogs.
From nature's bountiful storehouse of treasures in the earth come iron and lead, zinc and nickel, tin and aluminum, copper and coal, mercury and silver, tungsten and bauxite, vanadium, molybdenum, and manganese.
Ooh, I just got geological bingo.
Truly, all America builds the automobile. It's a nationwide collaboration of 48
Always so beautiful to see money migrating
cooperating
south
to
for the
achieve a
winter.
common purpose. And it could happen nowhere but here, in the land of the free, where men can still dream dreams and make them come true.
Haha, I drew some boobies.
Close the patent office? No, sirree. Not while there are still Americans ever striving to make this a better world to live
It's
in.
really over. I made it. All right, stick a fork in this film because it is done. El Dabstroyero is victorious again as another forgotten flick goes down in flames. Let me know in the comments what you thought of Land of the Free, and help to support the channel by liking, subscribing, following, supporting on Patreon. And until next time, keep fighting the good fight and wash those hands.
A member of the United States Senate made an amazing speech.
I like turtles.